The following map shows borders prior to World War II. Though mostly recognizable and relatable to contemporary political boundaries, the major difference is that Africa and Asia are held within imperialistic control of European powers. To understand how colonized areas became independent, the process and factors of decolonization must be examined. Nationalistic movements arose in Africa and Asia throughout the 50s and 60s. These movements were based on liberating specific colonies for the creation of a nation, such as Algeria freeing itself from France, or Kenya and India freeing themselves from Britain. Many had found unification against a common enemy, uniting several ethnic groups as base for self-determination, much like their European counterparts 100 years prior. European imperialism had created systems of economic exploitation against colonized areas by taking resources from colonies to support manufacturing which primarily benefited Europe. Economic independence was necessary by colonies to have control of their economic situation and for their population to prosper. As Mahatma Gandhi put it, "An economics that incubates enables the strong to amass wealth at the expense of the weak is a false and dismal science. It spells death. True economics, on the other hand, stands for social justice. It promotes the good of all equality, including the weakest, and indispensable for decent life." After witnessing World War II, European powers had now seen what it was like to be ruled by a foreign power, as they were militaristically dominated by Germany. Treaties signed by the victor allies after the war had made agreements to prevent any empire such as Germany's from arising in Europe again. Europe's new plan would be cooperation without violence. New regulation against empire in Europe was signed along with the formation of the UN and with the UN Charter as follows: to develop friendly relations among nations based on respect for the principle of equal rights and self-determination of peoples, and to take other appropriate measures to strengthen universal peace. Universal peace meant that colonized nations in Africa and Asia had just as much as right to self-determination from Europe as Europe had from Germany and any future empire. The following states: first, their countries seek no aggrandizement, territorial or other. Second, they desire to see no territorial changes that do not accord with the freely expressed wishes of the people concerned. Third, they respect the right of all peoples to choose the form of government under which they will live, and they wish to see the sovereign rights and self-government restored to those who have been forcibly deprived of them. Fourth, they will endeavor, with due respect for their existing obligations, to further enjoyment by all states, great or small, victor or vanquished, of access on equal terms to the trade and the new raw materials of the world which are needed for the economic prosperity. These are the first 4 points of the Atlantic Charter, created by FDR and Winston Churchill, recognizing other nations' right to self-determination. The Charter is justification for Western nations who had imperialistic holdings in Africa and Asia to give control of those regions to those who originally inhabited them. And so there is obligation by the Western powers to give up their old imperialistic ways.